We've always thought of ourselves as being the Trojan horse. We're Trojan horsing the state. We're Trojan horsing Wall Street. I'm beginning to get a feeling that they're not stupid. They understand the Trojan horse concept. They're putting as many chains around that Trojan horse as possible not to let us out of the horse. And then they're pulling it through the gate, and they're going to use it the way they want to use it. So to me, it's a double-edged sword. There's going to be a lot of Bitcoiners that think this is a win because number goes up. But at the end of the day, if it's 100% KYC, if it's 100%, you can't move Bitcoin unless you're fully verified. We're losing a lot of value in the network. We're losing the what does Tone Vays like to say? The ability to not censor the transactions, essentially. I forget the exact words he used, but and if these transactions, if Bitcoin transactions become stoppable as opposed to currently unstoppable because there's so much KYT, KYC, and KYB, we're gonna give up a lot. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the newbies coming on are jumping in that bandwagon without asking any questions.
John, what do you think? Like, what was really interesting to me is the notion of, a lot of people see number grow up as like this huge panacea. And I agree with a lot of what Paul is saying. I feel like we're being led into the carnival and the whole ride is, number go up and there's all these like shiny mirrors all around us and lights and spectacle. No one's paying attention to what's maybe really happening beyond number go up. And, you flip it and you start thinking about, okay, if number goes up a lot, which is what we all kind of think about mathematically, well, that's really sort of prepping for fiat failure. Like what happens when fiat dies? And, something that also kind of came up during the panel was, is this all in the future or, what are we missing now? And so John, like how do you, thinking about what Paul said and just also maybe how are you prepping for fiat failure?
Yeah, I think this is so much bigger than just a financial thing. And when people start thinking of Bitcoin as an investment, then they get latched on to the number go up. And it's obviously good to have more resources, but I think we have to see what money is really. And it's not just human control. It is literally keeping us in an unnatural state where it's the manipulation of human energy, basically. And so when we think about just number go up, that's not freedom. Bitcoin is like, if we have any mechanism by which to siphon off human energy in the form of money, then over time that can be collected. It can be then used as a resource to further suppress the population, mostly by mind control. And so over time, and the what we're up against is playing the slow, long game with a lot more information than we have. And so the only way to prevent this predicament in the future is to have a non-leaky bucket of human energy to where it cannot be siphoned off to be used against us. So when people are thinking about financial gain and an asset and all of these things, it is far too zoomed in for the epic battle that the human race is in right now. And this is far older, far more complicated, far more grandiose. And they've built basically a construct around us to where we believe in a situation and in a reality which doesn't exist. And they've done this over time by using this energy against us through various means. So we're all zoomed in at the microscopic level, and we need to get a 30,000 foot view and start seeing what the real game is.
Man, I think you really touched on something with the mind control, because right now, my sense is that at a faster pace than I've witnessed, a lot of people are waking up. Simultaneously, the pressure to suppress that wake up is accelerating. So we're rapidly accelerating to this point of contact between whatever percent of humanity wakes up to partially discovering what the truth might be, to radically accelerating oppression through mind control technology, vaccines, and other means that are trying to prevent that wake up.
I should clarify, when I mean mind control, I should define it as believing in a reality which isn't true. I don't necessarily mean, some kind of signal going into your brain and, robotically controlling you.
But John, that is what it is. These NPCs are, look at the rioting and gaslighting from the politicians corralling the rioters against the exposure of facts, right? Facts and truth don't need defense. They're not emotional, right? And they're not sentient either. So I think we maybe need to not even worry about those people, because Paul, you're right. Like, there is that rate of change of both going together, right? The fighting side and then the awakening side. But it's too late. If you're already not there in that trajectory, and you know this, John, like, the time and energy that humanity needs to spend to remain human, not transhuman, and to be less demonic and less destructive, the hour's late. It's literally now or never, because the poisoning of the atmosphere and environment's at a level we can't sustain but a few years. And then the sustain of the population by the producers of the takers isn't going to sustain. The usury across every spectrum of every aspect of humanity cannot sustain. So that's where all this is coming to head now. Maybe that means 50 years, right, between now and where it ends, or is it 3 months? We don't know, because time is somewhat relative.
Yeah, I when I think of mind control too, I'm always thinking about our historical models, right? It's like what we believe to be true from the past. I think a lot of people are discovering that their religious views, their understanding of history, their understanding of what caused certain wars, why certain things happened to the United States or to Europe or any government that was overthrown, they're finally coming to just a glimpse of an alternative truth that seems to be adding up, and in doing so, they start to question things. Hopefully, that leads them to question what's happening with money today. And I think but what I keep finding so interesting is that I talk to so many people about all these different topics, and then I try to introduce. When I hear those people talk, I hear the Bitcoiner in them, and as soon as I talk about Bitcoin, and it's technical, and it's technology based, they lose complete trust in it. So there's a big channel of people that are potentially Bitcoiners that are fully distrustful, and I guess I can understand it from a certain perspective, distrustful of the very fact that it's technology driven.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.